All right, fellow adventurers, here for another session of Harnmaster, Tale of Two Daughters. And when we last left off, our noble heroes have all, in their own fashion, gathered in the castle of Gardirin, in the northern part of the Kingdom of Kaldor, the main stronghold of the Earl of Neph, Hafyn and And when we last left, his daughter, Lady Brydget, had ascended the hill and spent the night in vigil in front of the Swordstone, where she will descend this morning to become a Lady Knight. And for viewers, we are now located in that castle, presently in northern Kaldor. And we will shift our focus and our view to the town and castle of Gardirin itself. Lady Brydget is now in the early morning gray hours on the first day of Kelen. Her birthday is descending Tiglan Hill, and with an escort of fellow knights from the realm, is being escorted back through the town. The town is still mostly asleep, but through the town, she still in her white robes, where she stood vigil all night. Her sword and her shield and her spurs carried by other knights with her. She is escorted through the town, through the center of town, and eventually arrives just as dawn is beginning and the sun is beginning to rise to the east above the Sorkin Mountains, into a recently built Church of Leranian. And when the doors of the church open, there is a large assemblage of people inside. Most of them are her family. Hafyn is seated in the pew at the very front of the church. There are a number of knights and nobles of the realm. And of course, there is a priest of Leranian who is standing behind the altar. We'll go ahead and move us to a temple. I did not import a bunch of people to populate it, but just use your imagination that there are bunches of fancy people there to watch this occasion. The Earl of Neph being very well known and very wealthy, any kind of occasion that he has is going to attract lots of people. They want to be seen around him and be at any of his events. That way he may remember them favorably in the future. And when Brydget enters, it is essentially most of the people that she would expect. There's men-at-arms, and there's knights. There's her family. Of course, the Baron of Yged is there. Sir Aidan is there. Even the crazy Ilviran priest that the Baron of Yged chooses to bring with him is present. But also, in the second row of pews, there are two figures that are seated there that she has no earthly idea who they are. They look completely out of place amongst this assemblage of people. Let me know if you can see in the screen, everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We did bathe, though.
You did.
And I insisted on that.
So, well, Brydget, you're looking awfully huge there. You've been working out, haven't you? Okay, that's better.
You know it.
It's that spell from the Iranian.
And everybody turns as you enter, including these two odd figures on the left-hand side in that set of pews there. And they're all sort of expectantly watching you as you process down. It almost feels like your wedding day as you process down the center of the aisle to approach the altar. And your father stands next to the Leranian priest. And they're all eyes are upon you as you walk in. She sprints up the aisle.
I'm
Cannot-
about it.
Cannot possibly wait.
Wants to get it over with.
You take a kneeling position because you're familiar with the ceremony. You know how it works. And first, of course, there is a brief Leranian mass. You can pretty much tell that your father has instructed these people not to go too long with this. But it is still a good half hour or so that you're kneeling there as the priest of Leranian talks about the virtues of knighthood and why everybody is here, works a little homily and a story to go along with it. And when the mass is finally done, the purpose of you being here is finally turned to. And the knighting ceremony will be conducted by your father. And he turns to you as you were seated and presents you with your sword, which was carried in. And your spurs are also attached to your heels, and your shield is laid in front of you. And your father is still holding the sword in front of you, and asks you to repeat after him. He says, "My daughter, Brydget Carrow, I ask you to repeat these words, so you may be sworn a lady knight. Here do I vow on this sword to be from this day forward a good and true Leranian knight."
Here do I vow upon this sword to be a good and true Leranian knight.
Ever chivalrous and courteous.
Ever chivalrous and courteous.
And ever willing to bind myself in fealty to the crown of the kingdom of Kaldor.
Ever willingly to bound myself to the kingdom of Kaldor.
To speak and to be silent. To do and to let be.
To speak and to be silent. To do and to let be.
To come and to go. To strike and to spare.
To come and to go. To strike and to spare.
In such matters as concerns this kingdom.
In such matters as concerns this kingdom.
In need and in plenty. In peace and in war.
In need and in plenty. In peace and in war.
In living or in dying. Till death take me or the world end.
In living or in dying, or till death take me and the world end.
So he takes his sword and he dubs you by Saint Ambrathus, Saint Faradir, and Saint Paraline. I dub thee Dame Brydget Carrow. Arise, Dame Brydget Carrow. And there is the final act as you rise. And your father raises his hand, which he has never done before, and he strikes you upon the cheek and says, "Let this be the last blow you accept unanswered."
Ow.
And then he says, "Let there be thrice huzzahs," and then hip hip huzzahs around through the chorus of people. And you are now fully dubbed a Lady Knight of Leranian. And there's a great deal of cheering, and Sir Aidan comes forward and clasps you on the shoulders, and the knighting is done. And your father turns to the assemblage and says, "We will commence the joust, which I hope to be an annual occasion, starting in 2 hours hence. Let us all who ride make sure your names are upon the list, and I have a special prize for the winner of the joust, the champion of the tournament." And he slowly makes his way out, everybody patiently waiting until he leaves first, and everybody then follows out. And back to the Garderon map. So the town in this time that you've been in there has definitely started to wake up. As you've noticed when you came into town, there are lots of tents that have been put up by the various knights from different parts of the realm to take part in the list. Many people have just come out of curiosity or to watch the tournament. And everybody makes their way to the northern part of the village, where the North Common has been taken over by a large tournament field. And over the course of an hour or two, the various knights start to prepare themselves for the tournament. They don their armor, they prepare their horses, they saddle their horses. There's a great deal of tension in the air. The morning, fortunately, appears to be one of a fair day, but like most mornings in Caldor, especially during the spring, it's always going to start off a bit misty and foggy and damp. You anticipate that it'll probably burn off as the afternoon progresses. And we will now prepare for the list. So, for a lot of you, this is your first experience using Hardmaster 3 Combat, and we're going to do it in the tournament form. Simpler in some ways. And we're going to have to do a few things with the character sheets quickly, which I hope this doesn't bore the audience too much, but we are going to go into some details with how combat works and prepare for it in this somewhat more stylized fashion. So what I have done in your character sheets is most of them I've already outfitted and have the armor on and have weighted it, put the weight on your character sheets appropriate for what you are doing for the tournament. And in Hardmaster 3, how much weight you have on you is very important because your encumbrance is very carefully tracked and it causes a physical penalty. So armor has weight. The more armor you have, the more of a physical penalty you have. However, armor is very useful because it absorbs or prevents damage to you. So you want to have armor, but you also want to have mobility, and you want to have kind of a mix between the two. Another thing is that if you are mounted, your encumbrance penalty is halved. So knights in heavy armor love to be on their horses. That is very important. When they get off their horses, the full weight of their armor, which is usually armor and weapons, usually around 100 pounds or so, is going to make them move much less quickly than an unencumbered person. So there is, in fact, a box that's on your character sheet. And I would like you to look for it. In the combat profile, there is a checkbox that says mounted ? And if you have that checked, your physical penalty, which is your encumbrance penalty, goes from either a 7 or an 8 down to a 3 or a 4. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that is how the whether you're mounted or not works. Every point of physical penalty that you have, and it can be caused by fatigue, it can be caused by injuries, it can be caused by encumbrance. Every one of those points is 5% off of your skill checks for physical skills. So when you're mounted, let's say your shield, your sword skill is a 90, you're going to be at 70. So 4 times 5, 20, 70 if you're mounted, but you may be at minus 35 if you're unmounted. So you can see the difference between being mounted and unmounted. And you'll probably have a different mix of armor and equipment when you're doing a tournament list versus when you are in the field. You'll rarely see a knight who's just out in the field conducting business wearing all the armor of a joust. They may have a mail shirt on and a steel cap, and that may be it. But for a joust, you pile it all on because jousts are incredibly dangerous. Instead of a actual normal lance, what you have in a joust is a special jousting pole or a jousting lance. It is designed to break. And you gain a point in the joust when your lance breaks upon your opponent, either his shield or upon his person. So it is somewhat of it is slightly safer than an actual real combat with a sharper lance would be. So you're trying to get a good hit upon the person. You're trying to make your jousting lance break, or if you can unhorse the person, that is also an automatic win at that point. If you knock them from the saddle, then the joust is won by you. That's worth 3 points. So it is to 3 points that you are jousting. If you're tied after 3 runs at the joust, then you get off on foot, and the first to score 3 strikes against something other than their shield becomes the winner of the list, or the winner of that round. Okay, any questions so far on that? Nope, okay. And I'm going to simplify things a little bit. One other thing that is a factor is that your horse is your best buddy. And we're not doing that much with this right now, but the more well-trained your horse is, the better you're going to be at horse combat. The more calm your horse is, the better the horse adjusts, the better the horse is as a weapons platform for you. So your horse has a skill which is called initiative. It's the same initiative that you have in a sense. So right now, we're going to just sort of assume that your horses have average initiative. This is something that you can train your horse to get better at. So with your riding skill, I would like you to make a note in your skills area. Okay, so under your combat skills, where it says riding, and I see that Sir Aiden has 105 riding. Very impressive, Sir Aiden. However, Sir Aiden's riding skill will actually be averaged with the initiative of his horse for the purposes of using this horse. And your horse has a 60 initiative. So 60 plus 105 equals 165 divided by 2 is 83. So do you want to give your horse a name, Sir Aiden?
Yeah.
How about we name him after a Leranian saint? Because, they're kind of like that. How about
Name him Devin.
no.
Wouldn't that be the, ultimate power?
There are a lot of saints out there. Let's try to find one for horses. But name him Cermald. Cermald, after Saint Cermald the Brave. So when you are astride Saint Cermald, you have a riding skill of 83, and you should note that in your character sheet. So add the skill under combat skills Riding Sermold, and put down 83. And Brydget, do you have a name for your horse, or you want me to think of one?
Yeah, go ahead and think of one.
Okay. Yes, because saints are fun. Polanos, Poulanos, Polanos the Wise.
P-L-U-N.
Poulanos, Polanos. So you have a writing skill of. Let's look at your writing skill. Your writing is 91. So 60 plus 91 equals 151. Divided by 2 equals. So your writing skill when writing Polanos is 76.
Okay.
So add that as a skill. Writing Polanos, 76.
And do I put that under
combat skills, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Do I put that under SB or ML?
Just put it. Your writing skill is ML. Put it under ML. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about the SB because your writing SB is what controls that.
Gotcha.
Okay. Your horse can increase in skill. They can be trained, but we'll deal with that later and just get some basic combat stuff done. After a few hours, everybody prepares for the list and gathers on the tournament field. And your father has shown up with your brother at his side, and with him there is a dwarf, a Kuzdul, that is also seated with him. You know, Brydget, that that your father does a lot of business with the dwarves of Azadmir, and clearly one of them has arrived for this occasion. And your father rises to start the list and introduces the various guests and says, "My good friend here from Azadmir has graciously offered as prize for this tournament a fine broadsword of Kuzdul make to the champion of the tournament. A fine and handsome prize indeed, one which I will hope to measure up to if we are to perform this tournament on a yearly basis." So many of the knights look very pleased with that as a possible prize to win this list, especially when it appears that because this is the first time this tournament has been held, the number of combatants in it is a fairly limited number. It is, in fact, only 16. So a lot of knights feel that we hear the chatter amongst themselves as they're getting themselves together, that all of them feel that they have a fairly good chance of perhaps winning this and taking home a very valuable and useful prize in the form of a Kuzan battle sword or a broadsword. So let us begin the tournament. One thing you see, Brydget, as you're preparing for this, is that there is another lady knight who is present. And while you are putting your armor on, she is already armored and comes by. Your tent is set up and your horse is ready and everything is being made ready. You don't have a squire yet since you've just been knighted. It's a little early for that. But Sir Aidan has another squire, and they're helping you and preparing you to get on the list field. And a lady knight approaches, and I will show you a portrait of her. At least I think I will. Where'd I go? There it is. You are not familiar with her. She looks to be about 40-ish, late 30s, early 40s. A strong-looking woman. She is dressed in the livery of a knight of the Church of Leranian. She is a member of the Fighting Order, which is the Lady of Paladins. And so she is dressed in white and red, and is she's basically like you'd say, like a Knights Templar or Hospitaller. She is a Fighting Order knight. She's a knight of a religious temple. But she comes by and she gives a great courtesy to you in the form of a bow, and says, I am Dame Belina of Talarm. It is my privilege to meet you and to fight in this tournament in your name.
It's good to meet you. My brother mentioned you.
Oh, did he? I appreciate the courtesy on his part. I expect that since this joust is under the watchful eye of your father, that all courtesies will be granted to us, and that the other knights, the men, will properly comport themselves. But I will warn you, as one who has participated in many tournaments, that if you choose to do this in the future and ride in the lists, that it may not always be this way. Perhaps this has already been warned of you.
Yes, it has. But perhaps you and I can set the example and the standard.
She smiles at that. I believe that I appreciate your spirit, Dame Brydget. It does not appear that I will be facing you early in the list. I got to sneak a peek at the list tree. I'm afraid that I'm in the bottom bracket and you're in the top bracket. But if we are the winners of each bracket, perhaps we will face each other for the finale, she says with a smile.
It would be my honor.
Mine as well. And she heads back to her tent and her horse. And as it would be, you, Lady Crow, are the first combatant on the list. So this could be largely stylized. I can grab a couple horses here. Hold on. Let's see what we can do here. All right. This is going to be far less tactical than most Harnett combat, because basically you ride at each other in the center and you meet and you hit each other. So it's fairly straightforward. But there's a chance you could be dismounted and continue with combat on the ground, especially if you both get thrown from your saddles. And you have been told that you are facing a person named Sir Taran of Ulris. Sir Taran is a fairly handsome-looking young fellow, late 20s, early 30s. You make me a heraldry roll.
Okay.
When you hear the name announced, make me a heraldry roll.
How do I do that?
All right, go to your sheet. Look for the skill heraldry. You find it?
Is it under communication?
You think it's a craft lore skill?
He has a craft lore skill.
Oh, I see it now. And then I
Click
hit
it.
the dice.
Yep. Just give it a ring.
Oh, no modifier. Okay.
No modifier. We'll see. Target was 4. It is your kingdom, so yeah, you're not sure. He may come from the keep north of Yeged. You might know that. I mean, he's fairly close, so you didn't miss it by much. There's a keep north of you named Tonat, and you think that he might be one of the knights that's associated with that keep and one of the manors in that area. So he's not from very far from here.
Sorry, what was his name again?
Sir Taran of Ulris. Sir Taran of Ulris. I'm sorry. You
Taran,
know
yeah.
you know him.
I thought so. The name was a little bit off, but I know him. How well do I know his horse?
How well do you know his horse?
Yeah.
I mean,
do I know its name? And there's some meaning to that, but probably not. There's an off chance I might.
you just really met him for the first time the other day. You guys had discussed the stuff about the Teal'da and all that. So
yeah.
So yeah, you've heard of the man, but you don't know him. Not in particular. Okay, so we will joust now, and this is how it works. You ride at each other, which, like I said, this is highly stylized, and in the center, you will meet. But the first thing you do when you joust is you make a ride roll to initiate the run. All right. So
Okay.
you will make a ride roll for riding your horse, and make that roll for me, please.
I think I did.
You did. Okay. That's a marginal success, which means that you successfully got your horse spurred, and you start a gallop. And there's no bonus or penalty to what happens next. But you got your horse moving, but he's moving fine, but not in an exemplary fashion. There he is. All right. I don't. And he will do the same. And he also has a marginal success. So you have the same success rate on riding. So you have no penalty or bonus to your ride roll. And you lean across as you meet. And your jousting poles are much longer than a war lance. They're like 15 feet long. So there's a special table for lance combat, and each of you makes an attack roll. So on your character sheet there is a roll for it's a combat skill, and it says it should say it should be your war lance.
I have
Your
land.
Under weapons, so scroll down for weapons. There's the jousting lance.
Okay. Okay, yeah, got it.
Okay, so hit the next where it says AML. Go ahead and he is mounted, so put that. Hold on. Okay, so click where next to AML. It should be a number somewhere in the 80s, 90s, 100, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and click that, and you both basically attack at the same time. Okay, so that's 2 successes. So marginal success versus marginal success is you both strike at the same time, and you both will check your jousting lance to see whether it is broken or not. So there's next to your jousting lance where it says WQ8. Do you see that?
I just see WQ.
Okay, it says next to jousting lance there should be an 8 there. WQ
Yeah.
should. Okay, there's a little die number. Click on that.
Okay.
Okay, so actually you want to fail.
Yep.
So your lance broke and his did not.
Ha.
Aha! Now let us see where these blows landed.
Should be shield. Should just be shield.
Actually, there's a 1 in 4 chance that won't be the shield.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if it's a 4, it misses. It hits something other than the shield. 2. So it strikes you upon the shield.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and roll a d4 for me, Brydget.
Okay.
Slash RD4.
Oh wait, I think I rolled a 20. Roll a d4. Let me just do the type. The type's easier.
Well, you rolled a d4. You rolled a 4. Okay.
Okay, well then I'm good. Okay.
Yeah. So you rolled a 4, which means you hit him on the right side of his body. So it missed his shield. And Marcus, go ahead and lead us through the hit location stuff.
Are you going to be consider these to be medium zones or high zones because they're aiming for the shield?
I'd say it's medium.
All right, so you're going to roll percentile, or you can roll highlight your token, or you can go to your character sheet.
Okay, go into character sheet.
And I'm going to do the same thing. And you can go to attributes and abilities, and you're going to see a damage roll.
I'll do it real quick. So for Sir Taran, yeah. So I've got Sir Taran highlighted. So medium location. Submit. The weapon impact value for jousting lance is what? What does it say on your sheet? It's a blunt impact.
Yep.
We're going through this kind of slowly. That way,
Yeah.
you guys will understand it later, and we'll be able to do a little bit faster.
So you're going to do damage roll. Target location is going to be medium. You hit submit. And then there should be a weapons value on your character sheet for your weapon, for your lance. You know what that is?
It is a... oh, actually, I did not write it down for her, so that's on me. I think it's a 6 or a 7. Give me a second. Jousting pole is... Oh, it's only a 3.
Only a 3. And what is the AD on it?
That's properly on there. Attack defensive, that's on there.
Okay. Okay, that
Yeah, I
is
got
on
that.
there. 3. All right.
So weapon impact is 3. Submit 2d6. Submit blunt.
Medium.
Bam.
I'm just going to show the... So I have it in my...
Oh, you hit him in the face.
So people in the... can see. So everyone home can see what we're doing. I did it myself, but we're going to take the first one that she rolled.
Right in the...
You broke your lance on his face.
Well, no, thorax. She hit him in the thorax. The one, if hit in face, would have been the left eye. So the top one is thorax.
So it which didn't do much because he's wearing a ton of armor. So 3 points of doing 3 plus 3, so 6 points total. Is that how that works, Marcus?
Yes.
1 plus 2. Okay, so 6 points
blunt.
total. All right, so his armor on his thorax is 10 points. So you hit him, and it doesn't wound him, but the crowd is suitably impressed as you ride by and break your lance upon him as his lance skids across your shield. There's a chance that your shield can break, which we should roll on. So roll me a weapon quality roll for your shield, please.
Okay. So let me find it.
And we'll go through this slowly, that way you can...
So it's my knight shield, and
Yep.
When
Just
you
write
said
it
weapon quality, that's the WQ.
Yep.
And just roll it.
Success. So his lance skids off your shield, and he misses blocking, and you strike him soundly to the body, and your lance breaks upon him. And you hear an oof from his end as you ride past each other and wheel around, and another lance is handed to you. And he kind of looks a little bit. I mean, he's not wounded, but you could tell he felt it. And as he turns in the list field, he gives you a salute, and holds a finger in the air, acknowledging that you've scored a point on him. He seems to be a pretty good sport, this guy.
Okay.
And he rode earnestly. He did not try to like. You've been warned that many would try to avoid it. So Marcus is telling me that because shields are not designed to break, that he does multiple checks for shields.
And weapons.
Okay.
And weapons.
Oh, and weapons? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, jousting poles are designed to break, though, so we'll definitely do one. So you're handed another lance, and we repeat the procedure, starting with a ride roll. Okay, so what this means is that Sir Taran, who seems to be a very earnest knight, does not seem to be the best jouster that anybody's ever seen. So when he spurs his horse to go, his horse goes, but the horse kind of stutters and stumbles as he starts to make his run, and that means that he's looking less comfortable in the saddle than you are. So he will be at a -10 for any rolls associated with this joust, with this particular turn. Okay, you have to figure it out. So I will roll his simultaneous jousting lance roll, but he'll be at -10 for this roll. So it'll be -10. All right. This is probably going to be much more interesting. So you have a marginal success versus his marginal failure.
That's going to hurt.
So you hit him, and he completely misses you.
Mm.
And so roll a weapon quality roll for your lance.
Okay.
And your lance breaks upon him, or his shield. It doesn't matter too much. Roll me a d4 just in case.
Okay.
Okay, so you strike him soundly upon the shield. His lance misses you, and your lance once again breaks. And you have 2 points, and he has none. The only way that you can lose this joust at this point is if you are unhorsed. So relatively straightforward turn that one was. And one more time. He spurs his horse. Now roll me a jousting lance roll. Oof. Go ahead. Wow. Okay. So this may not end up well for him. So he critically fails his joust roll. So he is completely off balance. His lance doesn't even get near you. He just squares up to you, takes the lance full on. Roll me a d4, please.
Okay.
However, it doesn't really hurt you much because it may just skitter off his shield. Okay. I'll roll a weapon quality roll for his shield, because this could get through and actually hurt him a little bit. Okay, so the shield holds. Roll a weapon quality for your lance, please. And it breaks. So easy peasy. Did I just say easy peasy? So the crowd goes wild as Brydget, in 3 turns, breaks her lance upon Sir Taran of Ulris's body and shield, and she advances to the next round. And the crowd goes wild. And Sir Taran dismounts and takes his helmet off, and you see he's all smiles. He strides forward. Actually, he doesn't. He rides forward to greet you and say, "You are well comported, Dame Brydget. I see you will do well in the tournaments, and I expected to perhaps do a little bit better."
Thank you, sir.
And he starts to go back to his tent to take his armor off. And he says, and he kind of shouts, "Perhaps I will do better in the archery tournament." And he is out of the list, and you've advanced on to the next round.
Better recognize.
All right, so you step aside. The next combatant is going to be Sir Aidan Asdef versus Sir Etokan. You have no idea who Sir Etokan is. He's some schmo that showed up. You should probably make quick work of him. And so, Dave, are you all set to do this?
Maybe.
Maybe.
What?
All right. That's why we're doing it. I'm going to change who is represented by these. Who's represented by these tokens. And Sir Etokan is named Base Knight. That's all he is. All right. So to start, I need to get a ride skill that's appropriate. Hold on. Okay. So, Sir Aiden, you will start by initiating the charge with a ride horse roll under your horse's name.
Okay. The combat and the die, but the dies are grayed out.
The die is that's what you roll. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's grayed out. It's not responding.
Okay. Oh, it's not responding? Let me look at your sheet. Riding Ceremald?
Yeah.
I don't know, it worked for me. Where we click where it says Riding Ceremald, there's a D20, roll, just click that.
Yeah, the little die, the polyhedron symbol.
Yeah.
Yep, it goes, I get a black rim around it and nothing happens.
Okay. I just did it for you on your sheet and it seemed to work. It didn't just seem to work, it worked. But,
his token might be on the GM layer or something like that.
No. They're all on the token layer. It doesn't matter if he's just rolling from his character sheet. It doesn't matter whether it's on a layer or not. It's the character
it's on
sheet.
his character sheet. Check your messages, Devin.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. And this is Sir Aiden.
Yes.
And you want him to do his riding roll?
I just did it for him. I just wonder why he can't do it, that's all.
Yeah, I just did it, so it should work for him.
Well,
Try,
none of the dice respond, so I can't even do a jousting roll next.
oh, hold on. No, I got both. Okay, Sir Aiden, got both Davids.
Yep.
You did.
Oh, that might be me.
That's
All
you.
right.
Maybe that was your lance breaking. So
Weird. The skills that I just made for riding Ceremald does not work. Neither does riding. So the combat skills buttons don't work.
Try to reload your screen.
yeah, let's try that.
Okay. Close.
So, random question. While he's working on that, question from the peanut gallery.
Yes.
So, an unhorsing check would happen if the impact of a lance to
There we go.
not the shield exceeds their strength stat?
Correct.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
But it's never going to be checked when you hit their shield.
Even then, if it exceeds their strength, I think it does.
Because Brydget would have.
Okay.
She had 3 dice on that hit to his shield. She might have
Yeah,
succeeded.
She might have unhorsed him. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I was making those riding check rolls, was I supposed to be doing regular riding, or was I supposed to be doing riding Plonos?
Riding Polonus.
Oh, I totally did not do that.
Okay.
I just did riding, but I'll do riding Plonos next time.
Okay. It is, yes, you will be not quite as good when riding your horse because it's average with this initiative skill.
It seemed to work out last time.
Well, no, yeah. So riding your horse is what we're checking on.
Got it.
I think I took my character sheet off to another screen, and so the modifiers window didn't show up. When I reset it, the modifier window showed up and it rolled properly. So.
All right.
Okay. Well, you rolled. Are we counting that roll?
That's huge, because those were all practice. We can count that one, or we can count the first one I did, or I can roll one right now.
For clarity's sake, roll one right now. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay, so they have a -10 on the base knight. So roll for your jousting lance, please. Under AML, they're at -10.
That was the break. You want to roll it to hit. There you go.
Oh. Got it.
The AML.
Sorry, a little off. There we go. No modifiers. Wow.
All right, 2 marginal failures. Yeah.
Lady Brydget size.
Both miss. Fairly unexciting. All right, you ride. I've seen this in jousts all the time. You ride right past each other, and your lances just cleanly miss.
Ooh.
Ooh. The crowd goes less than wild.
All right. Second ride.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Both need to make riding rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, both need a ride roll to get started.
All right.
That's right.
Oof.
All right, so Sir Etokan wheels around, and this is going to show you what target email is not. That can't be right. Why is it 29? I mean, he still rolled 100, so
You gave him a minus 45 on his. Somehow he got an extra minus 20.
I don't know how that happened. Oh, it shows not as mounted, but still, I'll just take the double odds. It's still a bad result.
Yeah, it's still a critical fail.
And he wheels around and spurs his horse, and his horse just rears up violently, and he goes crashing to the ground. He just comes crashing off his horse. He is completely unhorsed. And he will... Yes?
Would it be diplomatic to dip my lance as you can get back on, and or is he automatically unmounted?
He is, under the rules, he is, it's just as if he was thrown from the saddle. So you have won this round. If you wish to, is certainly within your control to say something and say, no, I will not accept a victory and such. Yeah, it's up to you. Yes,
Hey,
it is.
good sir, please remount and let us continue.
And the crowd is quite impressed at your chivalry. And in fact, a lady in the front gallery, who appears to be about your age,
Look past the eye wound.
we have a helmet on, so
Oh, that's probably the only reason she's.
She bids you to approach her.
I will ride over. Let's see. That would be riding.
That's let's try to ride fancy. You could just ride over
No,
there.
I just ride over.
And she bids you to lower your lance so that she may tie her token upon it.
And I will do that.
All right. It says, ride for me, good Sir Aiden. I appreciate your chivalry.
But of course, milady. Ride back to the end of the turn.
All right. So we will spur our horses again, and hopefully. Well, let me see if you got damage thrown for this horse. So it's a 40. He basically got unhorsed, so it's a 46 roll.
You could take some of that off if you wanted to, because they wasn't at a full tilt.
Even under a walk or trot, I think it's a 46.
That seems like a lot.
It does. I'm not sure if he makes another riding roll to see if he can mitigate that somewhat. So, if it's actually, I'll make another riding roll for him. If he makes the riding roll, he'll just take no damage. But if he critically fails again, he'll just come down really hard. Okay, so he comes off fairly gracefully and on his feet, but under the rules of the list, he would have been disqualified. All right, so we will ride again, and he spurs his horse and succeeds. Sir Aiden, you are up. Success. We reach the center, and we roll for our jousting lance rolls, and you both strike. He will hit Sir Aiden in the body.
You guys see, does his lance break?
I'm going to see that next.
Yeah.
His lance does break.
R/D4, right?
Correct.
A space in between the backslash and the D.
Thanks.
I think it's /R.
/R. And you can use, there's a little dice roller on the side too.
Let's see. Dice. There.
Okay, so you strike him upon the shield. Roll to see if your lance breaks.
It did.
I did that 2 rolls
Okay,
up.
so your lance breaks. He is going to hit you. All right, 11 points. Left shoulder, actually, it'd be your right shoulder, just because of the situation. So 11 points of blunt damage. How much armor are you wearing there, Sir Aiden?
So
You got mail and quilt.
I add that all up.
It's right there. So blunt.
Blunt 7.
7. Okay. So you take a. So you take 4 points of damage. It requires a riding roll at -20 to stay. So you have a wound basically. You take a pretty bruising blow to the shoulder.
-5. So what? I'm going to show the people at home how we do that. So I'm going to pull up Sir Aiden's character.
All right.
We're going to go in the middle. It's going to say combat profile, and you're going to see injuries right in the middle. We're going to add, and it's going to be right shoulder. And it's a minor wound, which means it's going to be a level 1, which is -5. So he'll be -5 to all his actions.
Yeah. So you're nursing a your shield shoulder is now pretty dinged up.
So
it has a big bruise on it.
So it's not enough to make you a shock roll, but you do have to make a fumble roll to see if you.
You have to make a horsemanship. Well, actually, you have to make a horsemanship roll to stay in the saddle.
So that's just my riding, not riding Sir Maul.
Yes, no, it's riding your horse.
All right.
Okay, so you stay in the saddle, but his lance breaks upon you. Now, what the first round you guys just passed each other? Was that right? Okay, so even though you took damage, you're still equal in the joust
Yep.
because
we're
both
at
of you have
1
broken your legs. Both have 1 point. So this is the deciding turn, and if it's not decided now, then you will get off your horses. All right.
All right.
So
Ride.
we ride to start. Correct. All right. He has a. Why is this so low?
That's right. Hold on. 60. Target email 49. Mastery level of 74. 50. Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Okay. He's not the best knight out there. All right, so he's at -10 to hit. So he will make a jousting roll. You do the same. He's at -10. Yep. So you both hit. He will make a weapon quality roll.
I will do that as well.
His breaks. Yours breaks. Let's see where they hit. He hits you in the shield. Go ahead and roll a d4. All right, you're hitting the shield as well. So the lances strike the shield and both break and shiver, as it's called usually. And you are now tied 2-2. And yeah, I think it's only 3 turns, Marcus.
Just
I've seen.
I'm reading the tournament thing, and it just says the first to 3 hits, 3 points, and a broken shield or a broken lances.
Okay. There's it's usually fairly variable.
There are many different rules to the joust. And when
Yeah.
you joust,
So, for example, instead of a contest being limited to 3 tilts with the lance, there could be. The jousters are prevented to make more than 3 passes in a bout. If after 3 tilts the score remains tied. So it has been 3 passes and the score is tied. So they dismount.
So now I got to take off mounted.
You take off mounted.
Done that.
And you have your shield and your baited sword, and you just walk up on each other and start.
Takes us 20 minutes to cover the ground. The horse in a couple seconds.
pretty much, that's accurate. And we will now check initiative.
Okay.
And
all right.
now I think this is the second time we're doing combat, so we do initiative a little differently.
okay,
You guys are going to roll your initiative, and doesn't necessarily mean that if you have the higher initiative total that you're going to go first. So it's based on your level of success who goes first.
is that initiative roll going to figure in your physical penalty?
Yes.
Will it automatically do that?
Yes, on the character sheet.
All right. So that would be
Yes.
my initiative.
Okay, so he rolled a 53. Now, did yours come up, Sir Aiden?
Oh,
You should be able to highlight your token and then hit initiative. There's a INIT up in the top left.
Okay.
I hear it beeping, but it's
Yeah.
It went. Okay,
that's
so
right. Yes.
okay, so you guys are both marginal failures. His initiative is slightly better, so he will attack first. Is that a fair way to do it, Marcus? What do you think?
Yes, that's the fair way to do it.
Okay, so we're going to go to a different combat chart.
I have it handy.
And- You have it handy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
So-
gonna be are we gonna do the first 3 hits or the first
The first 3 hits to not the sword.
to
not the
to
shield.
not a block of any type? Okay, got
Correct.
it.
Okay, so he will attack with his baited broadsword. And misses.
Nice.
And you can still make a block with your shield. Because it might give you an advantage if that happens. Alright, so that ends up being, I believe, just a miss. Do you have the chart in front of you, Marcus?
Yes, it's under a block. It's just a block. He did block, so there will be a weapon quality check for the shield and then the sword.
Okay, so weapon quality check for the shield.
Next shield, WQ. Got it.
Yep, success. Okay. And then the sword. Success. Okay. And then you attack back.
All right. So.
It's going to be your baited broadsword.
It's going to be
next to the
AML.
8. Correct.
Got it.
All right, and he will block with his knight shield, and is a failure. So you hit. So you now have 1 point.
Now, what you do now is you see where it says damage roll up in the top left.
DML.
Yeah, damage
Yep.
roll. Yeah,
Up in the on your screen, top left, next to the pointer.
as long as you got your token clicked.
I don't. Hang on. I will click my token.
Did that appear? All right.
Top
It's
left.
not appear.
Oh, input. No, it's cancel. It's somewhere else.
I'll do it real quick.
All right.
I assume you're
Got a
hitting, attacking the medium. The baited broadsword is a 4 impact value, and it's 1d6, and it is blunted. So
Right calf.
hit him low in the right calf. That's pretty gnarly of you. He is wearing that doesn't do any actual damage because he's wearing a plate greave, and so he has a fair amount of protection there. But it is a hit for the purposes of this. Didn't damage him, but it's a hit. All right. New initiative each round, Marcus, or just keep the same initiative?
Would keep the same initiative until someone
Unless it's a change.
change of circumstances. Yeah.
Okay. So Sir Etokan will attack with the baited broadsword, and he will miss, but make a shield check anyway, just to see whether you get a tactical advantage.
And he does. So let me backtrack a little bit, just a little. So when Sir Aiden determines that he's going to strike, or not Sir Aiden, but when Sir Cathal decides to strike,
Sir Etokan.
or Edrakan decides to strike, Sir Aiden, you can determine what your defense is. So try to do it before he rolls, but you can block, you can counter strike, or you can dodge.
So counter strike means that you're not worrying about. You're just trying to attack into his attack, which usually favors the initial attacker more than the defender, but, who knows.
Like if you wanted to be bold on the third swing, if you hit, because right now, if you hit him again, you're going to have 2 points, and then you can attack on your turn and try to get a third. But when he gets his turn again, and if you've got him 2 hits to none and he swings at you, you could counter strike to try to get your third hit in.
And if I get the third hit, I win automatically because you only has 1.
Correct.
Correct.
You don't have to, but I'm just giving you an option. So you did block, and you do get a tactical advantage from blocking his attack.
So basically, he attacked clumsily, and you kind of muscled him aside and left a big opening that you can immediately exploit. So you get basically two attacks in a row.
I'm not going to take advantage of that. I'm going to make this be the chivalric knight I am and just go straight forward. We're in a battle and it's my life. I may do that. But
okay, so you let him regain his composure and then strike him, basically.
yes.
All right, so go ahead and make your attack. He'll block with his shield. Okay, so
Now, will he return the favor?
That's
Sir Etokan will just attack. He's not quite so chivalrous. So are you gonna block with a shield?
yes.
Okay. Make me a shield block. Oh, I'm doing Sir Aiden's chart. I'm sorry. My bad.
But you did block. You did block.
Okay. What was his attack? Was his attack? Okay, it was a 43. That's fine. I had yours open for some reason, Dave. I'm sorry.
That's fine. He gets better skills for me.
So make a shield weapon quality check.
Light shield, weapon quality.
Success.
And then a broadsword for the attacker.
Okay. And
My
he will.
attack round.
No, it's his attack round because he exploited the tactical advantage he had from your clumsy
right.
block. So he immediately attacks again. Oh, that's what you don't want to see. So roll a shield block roll. I assume you're gonna use your shield.
Yep.
All right.
Ouch. That's gonna hurt.
Ouch. That is gonna hurt. So critical success versus a marginal failure, and it's only an A2. So it's not awful.
Depends where he gets hit.
That's true. Medium target. Submit. Impact value is 4.
He could roll low.
2d6.
At worst, this just gives him another point, though. Although it hurts.
Well,
me,
at
it
worst,
makes
you
me
could
damage.
you could take some real damage.
8 points to the upper arm. So look at what armor you have in the upper arm.
Upper arm. This is edged.
It is blunt.
Blunt.
It is blunted swords.
It's blunt. 7.
7. Ouch. So you take another. Your right arm is taking a beating.
So let
First
me,
your shoulder. So he's going to add a wound to that.
Add.
You'll watch him as he does it. You'll see.
Okay.
this is right upper arm, right?
Yes. And I know that this is kind of for the other players here. I want you guys to see how the combat works, because once you get the flow of it, it's going to go a lot faster. So.
And then it would be since it's a check, you would make a fumble check. Click on fumble to see if you keep a hold of your broadsword.
Oh, okay. So that gives him a DTA.
No,
He has to grope for it on the ground. His next turn, he has to make a grope action.
this would give him a DTA. Yes, you can't get
Okay.
2 in a row, but this is a new round.
Okay, so as
I'm
you
trying to
drop
figure
your
out how he rolled a 14 plus 7 plus 2.
I don't know.
I've got 2 injuries.
3d6. Well, it's still 7 plus 2.
It's his universal penalty, so his encumbrance, because he's not horsed anymore, plus his 2 injuries.
Does that apply to a fumble roll?
Yeah.
I guess it does.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you drop your sword, and he is again not the chivalric knight that you'd hoped he'd be. And he will. Actually, you know what? No, he does not. He steps back, and gives you a moment to retrieve your sword.
Which I do.
We are now even. Good night.
Agreed, good sir.
Let's make a new initiative roll because you're kind of reset.
I'm still trying to figure out how there's a 14, 7, and 2.
All right, so we're gonna make a new initiative roll. Oof! You will go first. I'm gonna give him a minus 10 penalty in his first round. Go and roll for your initiative, Dave.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Hang on.
Okay.
Initiative. There it is.
Okay, I'll give him a minus 5 penalty on this round because you've kind of surprised him essentially because he critically failed his initiative roll. Just for the first round, you may attack.
Yeah. So when you swing this attack, just put 5 in the box that opens up.
Got it. So my attack with my sword
And then put
is
5 in
plus
the
5.
plus 5, correct?
Don't put plus 5, just put 5.
Got it. 5 is in.
Okay. He will block at a minus 5 because again, you kind of surprised him.
And he got a tactical advantage.
Okay.
Because he's that
And-
cool.
Because he's that kind of cool. He is not going to be so gracious this time. Oof!
Oh.
Oh.
I'm going to return his ungraciousness at this point.
Well, you have to block first
I
because
know.
he's it. Yeah.
Alright. Shield. No, I don't get the 5 now.
No.
No.
Wow. So let's
Wow.
see what that is. Block. Critical
So
success to a critical fail. Defender tactical advantage.
block. So you have a tactical advantage. Go ahead and if you want to press the attack, go right ahead.
I'm going to.
Okay.
So now I would attack.
Attack. Correct. basically you're trading blows super fast right now, just going back and forth. Aha! You will get a strike. You will strike him upon. Well, make a damage roll. See where you hit him. It doesn't matter too much. You're not doing a huge amount of damage to each other, but
Die 4?
no, not die 4. No, roll the damage roll up in the upper left hand corner. Yeah, just go make sure your character is highlighted. You're at the bottom of the 2. You're the green one.
Okay.
And when you highlight that, there should be a damage roll thing that appears in the upper left hand side.
Oh, I've got input value things everywhere.
Yeah. Nope. Not fishing. I'll do it real quick. So, medium.
I've got input values. I must have been building these up from all my tries to figure out where the heck I was.
Right. Is it 1d6, Marcus? I believe it is.
Yes.
All right. Hit him in the abdomen for 7 points. He, I believe, he has 7 points of protection in that spot against a blunt attack. So it doesn't do any damage, but you have another point on him. So I think it's 2-1 right now. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I believe it's his turn, or was that a DTA on your part?
That was a DTA on his part.
It's your turn again, Sir Aiden.
All right.
You have him on his heels. He is reeling backwards.
And I'm taking the baited broadsword and swinging.
Bam.
All right. You have won with the 3rd strike. The Marshal of the List saw that strike and says, "The victor, Sir Aiden!" And the crowd was quite impressed with that battle. There's much applause and cheers, and you advanced, although not without taking some licks during that.
I guess.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the combatants and just sort of advance them randomly. So Dave.
Yes.
David, excuse me.
Yes.
You were watching, and you saw that Lady Carot's companion knight does seem a little bit dinged up from that. I'm not sure if there's anything you can. You've been kind of watching all this, and he definitely took some licks there. You saw him really take a good one to the shoulder, and then another one to the arm. He is heading back to his tent to recuperate between rounds.
Yeah, I don't know him really,
Okay.
so I don't. I mean, if I was going to help him, I'd have to help everybody at this stage of my relationship with everyone. So I wouldn't really intervene, and that might be considered cheating too.
All right, so let me update my list chart. Lady Brydget has advanced. Sir Aiden. Unfortunately, Sir Aiden has to face Lady Brydget next. Sir Loris of Simos. Sir Loris is gunning for Lady Brydget, by the way. You know that, don't you? You guys recall that? Sir Foreign advances. Dame Baelina advances.
Woo!
Sir Romlick advances. Sir Erolar advances, and Sir Emery advances. All right. So we are down to the round of 8, and unfortunately, based on the draw, it is going to be Sir Lady Brydget facing the slightly wounded Sir Aiden. When she left you, she was but a student. Now she is the master.
We shall see.
Let me rename the characters here real quick.
No hard feelings.
Never.
I'm not going to let you win, but if you win, then you earned it.
Okay.
Whatever
All
helps
right.
you sleep at night.
This is cruel, Devin.
I know. Why is it not popping up? Hold on. Edit token. That's Sir Aiden. And that is now goes to Lady Brydget. That is now you over here.
All right.
All right.
Shall we begin?
Shall you begin?
All right, let's do it.
All right. I will clear out your character sheets, and you guys should be able to do this all now. So let us see if you guys do it. You initiate with a ride roll. Ride under the name of your horse.
Can do.
Brydget spurs her horse. A stable steed underneath her. You'll have a plus 10 to all attack rolls. And Sir Aiden, was that marginal failure on your end?
Yep.
All right. So you're a minus
Those are
10.
adding up.
You're a minus 10 to your jousting roll. So you meet in the center. Make your joust rolls. Dave, you are a minus 10, and Brydget is a plus 10. Don't put plus, just put 10 when it comes up.
For me?
Yes, Brydget.
Yes,
Yes.
for you.
I have to put the minus.
Yes.
You do.
Okay, so when I go to AML, my modifier is 10.
Put 10
But
in there,
you still
correct.
would have, Aiden. You still would have critical failed, and she still would have hit.
If that makes you feel better.
No.
Critical fail versus a martial success. A3. Ouch. Okay, roll a damage roll for... roll D4 for me, please, Brydget.
Okay,
See where you hit him.
touch that.
Okay, you hit him with the shield. Make a weapon quality check on the shield, Sir Aiden. And make a lance check, Brydget.
Okay.
Does it say on your chart how much impact she does?
It's
From...
it's an A3. Has a good chance of unhorsing. All right, your lance clearly shatters on his shield. Just make an impact roll.
Just roll 3d6 plus 3, right?
3d6 plus 3. Just see how much impact you did to him.
Okay.
Because you might just blow him out. You might blow him out of the saddle. Is why I'm saying it.
So I go to D6 and I click on the 3 on the far
Yeah.
on the 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I do that right.
Okay.
Okay, so 8 nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't. It's a good hit, but it does not. It does not unhorse him. He's strong enough to take it.
Okay.
All right. You come about, take up new lances.
Here we go again. Okay.
Brydget has 1 point. Initiate with a ride roll. Sir Aiden. He's in this to win it. All right. So Brydget, you're at a minus 10, and Sir Aiden is at plus 10.
Okay. So when I go to my joust AML or my jousting lance AML,
You're going to put a minus 10 in
Put
your
a minus
in the
10.
box.
Okay.
Sir Aiden is not holding back.
hold on one second, my computer locked up. Okay. So AML minus 10,
Correct.
submit.
That's not
Okay.
terrible.
Not terrible. So martial success versus critical success. Attacker 1. So, Sir Aiden, make a lance check against your lance. See whether it shivers.
Oh, it didn't break.
Suck.
Oh, that's your sword. It would have broken a lance.
Yeah.
So let's keep that roll. The lance would have broken. Weapon quality of the lance is only an 8. Make sure you hit the lance. That's okay. Roll to see where it hit her. D4. Okay.
Oof.
We'll hit the body somewhere. Roll a. Go ahead and. Do you see that chart for rolling a damage roll yet? Make sure your character's highlighted, and you'll see upper left-hand side on the screen. There is a thing that says damage roll. When you highlight your token, you should be able to see that.
I was able to highlight my token before he got here. I cannot highlight it.
You can't just click on your token.
Nope.
You're Sir Aiden. All right, I'll do it for you.
You should put display names so they can
Yeah,
see their
okay.
names on that.
I know I'm the lower one.
Actually, you're the upper one now, I think. All right, so 8
Skill advancement. I
points.
see damage roll now. Okay, well.
Okay, 8 points. So
That is going to go through, yeah. They don't have very good blunt armor.
Okay, so that one catches you low. It catches you just underneath. It slips just underneath your shield, Lady Brydget, and for 8
left
points.
hip. Yeah, one.
Left hip.
It'll be damaged.
I have not looked at Brydget's sheet.
M1. And it's added.
Okay.
But that's not a big enough impact to knock her off the
Unhorse
horse.
Actually, anytime you take damage, you have to make a riding roll. Anytime you
I
take
do?
damage. Yes, you do.
On my horse.
Yeah, you have to take on your horse. Yeah, take a riding roll
Okay.
anytime you take damage.
Okay, let me find my horsey. And any modifier, or am I good?
No, you're good.
You're good.
Okay.
It's already added in.
mixed.
So you are unhorsed.
What?
I know. I'll bring the rule up just to make sure I got it correctly, but I think I'm correct.
Well, damn. Well, I guess I don't mind losing to my teacher.
The rider. Okay, an unhorsing roll is required when 1. A rider suffers a strike impact that exceeds his strength before armor. 2. The rider suffers any injury.
Okay.
So, you suffered an injury, and you are taken out of the saddle. So Sir Aidan wins. Sorry, Lady Brydget.
Mm.
It was a valiant run. Your skills shone through.
I'm visibly upset.
You had a chance of winning that too. It was you were doing pretty good. All right,
But
so
I smile.
okay, so moving along. Really, the question is now whether Sir Aidan wins the joust. So, Lady Brydget is out. Sir Aidan advances. I have a chart here that I'm looking at. So Loris of Simos is your next person that you face. And Sir Romlock will beat Dame Belina.
So the two ladies are out.
The two ladies are out.
Lame.
Sir Emery is still in. All right. So let's go ahead and have this interchange because, Brydget, you know something about this.
Yeah.
The next person that Sir Aidan is facing is Sir Loris of Simos. Do you remember anything about Sir Loris?
Yeah, he is the son of the guy that used to serve my father that was replaced by an even creepier guy.
I think it's
so-
younger brother, I believe, but close enough.
Wait. Oh yeah, sorry, younger brother. And should I talk to Sir Aidan about this, or should I just confront Sir Loris?
It is a role-playing game. You can do whatever you want to do. So
I think I'm just gonna talk to Sir Aidan.
So while the other, so once Sir Loris is clearly won, there's still 2 more bouts that need to be fought, and during that time, Brydget, there's no reason why you're not going to go talk to Sir Aidan. So you go over there. Once you
Did she
hear
get hurt
this,
falling off the horse?
was that?
Did she get hurt falling off the horse, or we just not going?
It's a good question. Yeah, actually, you would have gotten hurt falling off a horse. It definitely hurts.
Yeah.
You would have gotten a 3d6 roll to the body. 8. Okay, another damage. 1 more point, Marcus.
Well, you got to roll to see where she landed.
I thought they always assumed it was the body.
Yeah, but no, it's going to be a medium roll. So just roll me a D100, and I got my chart here.
Okay.
You want me to roll you a D100?
If you want to know where you got hit,
Okay.
it don't matter.
Oh.
79. So you landed on the same hip, the left hip. So you got hit on the right hip and landed on your left hip.
I need a priest.
So you're a little dinged up. Not terrible. You're just bruised up a little bit.
And it is it did get through
Yeah, by 1 point.
by 1 point, and the good thing is once you're going to need a healer to look at these wounds, and you make a roll every. I think it's once a week. I don't think it's once a day.
We'll look at that in a second. But yeah, you got 2 bruised hips by like pretty serious contusions, like
Where's my healer?
black and blue and purple. Healer. Well,
Where's my healer? Where'd he go?
you don't. Do you have a healer? Who's your healer? Oh, the priest. The priest of
stuff.
the priest of Ilvir. Yeah, if you want him to
Yeah.
summon a dash you to lick your wounds.
We'll get you a better healer than that. We'll go talk to her, Zyrsin.
So am I gonna like limp over to Sir Aiden to talk to him?
They're bruises. They're heavy bruises. They're not like
They're like
they're minor wounds.
Yeah, they're minor wounds, but they're I've when I was doing SCA combat, I had a couple of those where, especially on the hips, man, your hips take a
I would
beating
say
in that.
it's like getting punched really hard in both your hips at the same time. It would hurt.
I've taken
that
sword
feels
shots
like.
that left like big, ugly purple bruises, and that's what you've got
Okay.
on either hip is a
So-
big, ugly purple bruise.
Make it contextual to me. I just got punched in my body somewhere, but I'm fine. I can keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could still move, but you're limping around a little bit. You're a little ginger, but you're fine. I
Alright,
mean,
that's
you've had
fine.
similar wounds. It's not the first time you've had this happen. But you approached Sir Aiden. Yes, this is the first time you've seen him since he unhorsed you.
Okay. So I'm in his tent or whatever.
Yeah, he's outside. He's watching because you want to see how the other people joust. You get an idea of how they are. You approach. Let's play it out.
Okay. All right,
Fare thee, Lady Brydget.
Sir Aiden.
Are you satisfied with your results?
We're not going to talk about that right now,
Fair
but I
enough.
did want to warn you about something that troubles me.
Pray tell.
This writer, Sir Loris. Do you know him?
I do not know him.
You can I'll let you make a heraldry roll.
I don't have heraldry.
I'll give you base heraldry. You should have heraldry. Every knight has some heraldry. I'll throw some on there. Just give me a second. Every knight has got at least a little bit of heraldry. Crap. Yeah, you've got heraldry. Here, I'll give you 25. I'll give you 25 in it. There you go. Let's roll it real quick. I'll adjust it later. I gave it to you. It's a craft lore.
Craft lore, okay.
Nah.
He shouldn't be minus 25. That's a physical penalty. So he made it. So he just made it.
Yeah. Why is there minus 10 on that?
It's given
It
his
should
wounds in that roll. You can always ignore those.
Okay.
It's effective on
Yeah,
me.
you remember that he is a manor knight. Actually, he's the son of a manor holding knight. That's underneath the Earl of the Earl Earl Crow, Earl of Neph. You know what? You heard
Son of
something
one
about.
of the landholders, like my father was.
Yeah, that's what you know. That's about it.
Yes, but he is the younger brother of the man that used to serve my father, who's no longer alive. He was killed by the current guard that serves my father. So you could imagine his temperament is not
Yes,
good.
the warning is just. I will be aware of his potential desires. He will not be chivalrous.
No, he will not, so don't be chivalrous to him.
Thank you,
Okay.
Lady Brydget.
You had that conversation. Hafyn and Zyrsin, do you guys want to go? You were watching her get kind of dinged up. What are you guys? You mentioned something, Hafyn.
Yeah, I thought we might I don't know, distract her by introducing ourselves and see what we can do about being a better healer than an Ilvarian cleric.
I mean,
It's not that hard to do.
he could summon an Acklash to breathe on it or something. So you see Lady Brydget have a few words with the knight that bested her, and you kind of got the impression that they knew each other in some fashion. Like they seemed to
Right.
be.
They don't seem like heated or angry words, though.
No, they definitely
From
seemed
afar.
like they were talking to each other
And make
in a rather familiar fashion. They seemed to be somebody that they seem to be friends or something close to it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, most of these nobles know each other to one degree or another.
Okay, so you wait for them to finish having those words, and she starts to kind of limp her way back to the tent where her horse is at. And do you guys kind of intersect her right there? Or?
Yeah, I would. I guess I don't know if Zyrsin. I don't know if David's here. But I'll wave at Lady Brydget, kind of flag her down between wherever she was and her tent. I think I can figure out where that would be. So okay. It's pretty easy to try to catch her.
Yeah, I mean, her tent is, let's say it's right here, and Sir Aiden's is actually right, like next to hers, because they kind of came together. So she is walking back from this tent here, going to the more fancy one that a Kuro is going to have at the front of the list. So you catch her kind of like in transit about right there.
Okay, I'd probably be. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Brydget, you've never seen this person. Oh, you saw him during your knighting ceremony.
I stand out amongst the nobles.
Yeah, he's in a sense you do. He's about 5 feet tall.
Huh.
This little slender, 5 foot tallish guy looks to be maybe in his mid-ish 30s. Kind of hard to tell. Not a handsome man. Kind of a sort of pinched, narrow face, longer black hair, but very, very pale skin. Very cleanly shaven.
Weathered by the elements and outdoors.
Yeah. Very, very clean shaven. I think we decided what color are your eyes? I'm not sure if we decided. It could be either blue or black, one or the other.
I think we went blue.
Blue. Okay. Kind of startling blue eyes, but not a handsome man at all.
And probably a fancy tunic that doesn't match up with his tan lines.
He's wearing a very weathered-looking stained cloak, and he has oak leaves kind of made into a wreath draped around his shoulders.
Brydget, Dame, well ridden, and congratulations on your knighthood.
She's kind of like, who is this guy? But she's
that's a fair reaction.
I'll extend a bow and say, I knew your father when you were very young, 20 years ago or so.
Okay. So she's like, thank you very much. What did you say your name was?
Oh, I am Hafyn. I'm a ranger and woodsman, known to your father and a few others. I've spent a lot of my recent time in Carnier Forest, and I don't believe we've had the opportunity to run into each other, but I've also been all around the islands. I've been north as well, and
he has an accent. And he has a bit of an accent when he's talking. And you've heard the accent.
The commoner.
Well, it is. You've heard the accent a little bit amongst older people that are living in Yeged, that are from the north. He has that Jaran accent.
Okay.
So when people from up north, people that were raised up there, when Harnick that you speak is the second language, he has that accent. He doesn't look particularly Jaran because he has the blue eyes. The dark hair is consistent, but his hair is straight, not curly. His eyes are blue, and he's very, very pale. Whereas you look more like a Jaran than he does, but you speak perfect, courtly Harnick. But Lady Brydget, Dame Brydget, when you see her, looks like a somewhat tall Jaran woman. More filled out than some because she's had a very good diet. Her hair tends to be more wavy than curly and more on the auburn side, but she has brown eyes and slightly tanned skin. She looks like a larger Jaran woman is what she looks like to you, Hafyn. But when she speaks, she does not sound the slightest bit Jaran. She speaks courtly Harnick.
So she looks visibly weirded out, but she's being polite, and she's like, "To what do I owe your introduction?"
Is Zyrsin with you?
Well, I was hoping I'd try to pull him along, but maybe he's shot right now. Maybe he's not connected at the moment. Zyrsin, I'm going to nudge this
I mean,
other suspect character with me.
I'd be there.
Okay, so yeah, Zyrsin he introduces as well, and they're both dressed in like very recently bought nice clothing, but with weathered-looking cloaks. So all the findings and belts and buckles and stuff are all like the belts are all like old and really creaky, well-worn leather. Their shoes are just scuffed up and dirty, but they've got like brand spanking new tunics on. So it's like they tried to dress up but could only half-ass it.
That's actually
Zyrsin,
amazing.
what's that?
I
I mean,
said that's amazing.
Zyrsin is another. He looks Jaran, more so than Hafyn does. And when he introduces himself, he has a somewhat thicker Jaran accent, but speaks reasonably good Harnic. David, what does your character look like? Just give a quick description to her.
Well, I don't know. He'd be. I don't know. Oh, he's about 5'10". Again, brown hair, hazel eyes, pretty medium weighted. His hands look well worn, but the rest of him would seem not very well worn. Kind of an odd mix and match there. He's young, probably about your age, and much like described, it looks very out of place here. His clothing, much of it is new, but again, his shoes and everything kind of tell a different tale. Along with, obviously, with his looking around, doesn't appear to be in his element at all.
Yep. So yeah, he looks and sounds Jaran when he speaks. He has
Okay.
that Jaran accent.
So she's gonna ask them what brings them to the joust.
As I said, I was friends with her father. We're familiar with each other from 20 years ago or so. But
And Stuart,
I'm aware
you're
that
kind of breaking up a little bit, so just letting you know.
Okay, sorry. We're familiar with your father. We're known to each other from 20 years ago or so, and he's spoken to me about traveling north together with you and Earl of such, and Sir Aiden perhaps. But we saw you take a fall, so we have such skills of travelers and men familiar with the wilderness. So we thought if you don't have a physician properly attending you, we might offer some of our services today.
Oh, how generous of you. You must have noticed this is not an injury-free adventure. Yes, I would like to speak with my father more about you two, but I would like to try out your services now if you could.
All right. I've got the physician book
Certainly.
out.
Here, let me shut the door real fast. Marcus, lead him through the physician stuff while I shut the door here.
Okay.
My wife
So-
just turned on the vacuum cleaner.
On Physician 3, in the Harn book, Harn Master 3, they got a treatment table, and you have a bruise, and all that's needed is a cold compress. And Dave, you'll get a plus 30 when you make your physician roll.
Which would be interesting if I had physician.
Oh, you don't have physician, huh?
I do.
Oh, it's...
But he's got other things he
Yes,
can do.
I know.
But I doubt that she would.
She's
might
out
freak out.
of... She's out... Well, she might... Well, she knows that there's people like you out there.
From my perspective, it would be very much of a how private of an environment are we in?
You would be
Well, she has
in the tent.
a tent. She has a tent right here. So
But we'll let Hafyn do his physician. So Hafyn, you'll be getting a plus 30 with your cold compress, and we'll need 2 rolls. There's 1, and there's 2. So on your character sheet, so go to Brydget's character sheet over here, go back to the results. So the first one will be on her right hip, and it was a marginal fail, and a marginal fail for this is an H5. So you put 5 in the HR on your injury, And then the second one was a critical success, and that is a straight up heal.
So where am I putting this? Sorry.
So it's going to be in the center of your character sheet under combat profile. I've already removed the left hip. You only have a right
Okay.
hip. So that cold compress that he put on your left one cured you right up, and you got no more minuses from it. Like, it's gone. It's just bruised. And the second one has got a healing rate of 5, which is still pretty decent.
Okay.
And I've already updated on your character sheet.
Oh, thanks.
And then back to Dave. Or Devin. Back to Devin.
Okay. Do you guys want to do more with it, or are you guys satisfied with the results?
From what Zyrsin can see, he doesn't really feel like this is an appropriate situation to kind of declare to the world what he is, kind of. At least to her at this situation.
She's not dying here. So
Right.
okay. So we will return then. We can intersperse some conversation. Do you guys continue to watch the list with her, or do you go back to your seats, or where do you guys wish to go?
If we're invited, I would follow her, but otherwise I'd be looking to head back to my seat.
Okay. So we will return back to Sir Aidan and Sir Loris now. Sir Loris has advanced. We are now in the round of 4, and it is now Sir Aidan and Sir Loris. Sir Loris does seem to be very motivated. And Sir Aidan, are you ready? I don't hear Sir Aidan.
That's because Sir Aidan is muted.
Yeah, that'll do it. All right. We will. If you are set, then we will ride.
Let's ride.
He successfully spurs his horse. Nothing extraordinary, but okay. You're at +10 on your lance roll. He appears to be leaning in very hard as he's riding. So he is taking sort of a more reckless approach as he's riding. He's kind of lunging forward, trying to get his lance advanced upon you. So what that will do is it'll give him a plus to attack, but it'll make it so that you're more likely to hit his body and get past his shield. So make a lance roll for me, please.
There you go.
All right, pair of marginal successes. Make a weapon quality check. His lance shivers. Yours shivers. Roll a d4. Roll a d4. All right, and you both, even though he lunged at you, you both hit in the shield. And that's...
The lunge is indicative of him trying to do real damage, or...
It's indicative of him trying really hard to unhorse you, but being reckless about it.
Okay, so he's trying to unhorse me and not taking the steady route forward.
Correct.
All right.
You both your eyes shiver, and you wheel about and do it again. And it deflects off both of your shields. So we will ride again. Success. Success. He will attack with his jousting lance, doing the same technique again. Ah. All right, so it is he will strike you and you will not strike him. So he will hit you. Make a weapon quality check for his lance. It fails. The lance shivers. Yours misses. It's a D1 attack, so it is unlikely that's going to do very much to you. It does hit you in the body, though. So we'll just go ahead and go through those steps. And it hits you in the left upper arm for 8 points. So you take, I believe you take another wound
too.
I think it's where he took a wound before. So this,
No,
you gotta.
I've been the right so far.
That's yeah. Okay, I'll give it the left arm. Usually it means it got past you on the right hand side, but that's okay. Because your shield's kind of covering your upper arm, so it's on the other side. So that's what the 4 indicates, is that it hit you on the right side. So you take another bruising blow to your right arm. So add that as another moderate impact injury to your right arm. And are you seeing how to do that now?
I believe I've added it in. Yes,
Okay, let's take a look.
I could call it upper arm. I didn't.
Let's say right upper. Yep, very good. Okay. You
Well,
are
then
getting the hang.
If there was, then that would be an additional damage to the right upper arm. I already have one. Do I make that a level 2?
No,
Or is that-
it's just another
hit.
injury to the same area.
Slowly.
Yeah, that sword arm is feeling worse and worse.
Yeah.
So that is two runs.
And he has 2, and I have 1.
He has 2, and you have 1. And you wheel around again, and he rides his horse named Justice, and has a marginal failure. He's at -10. Make yours. Oof.
Oh.
And your horse bucks, and you are bucked off of your steed. Make a riding roll, please.
Yep.
Oof. All right. That is a
As a heavy hit.
it will be. You land kind of on your side. Your leg and your hip taking most of the damage. You have another moderate injury to your leg of 1, a moderate 1 injury to the leg. Let's see how Sir Loris feels about it. Is he going to be as kind and generous as you were?
Hell no.
Sir Loris says, knowing that he's already up 2, or up 2 to 1. So I prefer not to win the tournament in such a fashion. Sir Aiden, regain your steed.
So that would have been a thigh hit.
Yes.
I have 9s.
Oh, you have 9s? You take no damage then.
So.
No damage. You're fine.
All right.
All right. You regain your steed.
I regained my steed and try it again.
Try it again. Okay. He's at -10 to hit on his attack roll. He leans in. He makes his attack. Make your attack roll.
Yep.
Marginal success. Marginal success. Okay, so you both make weapon quality checks. He fails his shivers, and if yours, he will win the joust with this run. He will have 3. And it doesn't matter. You can roll, but it'll be 2 to I believe it'll be 2 to 3. Okay.
It will be 2 to 3.
2 to 3. Sir Loris advances, and he will face Sir Romlock in the finals. And Sir Romlock, ultimately, by the end of the day, is the victor. A very impressive knight Sir Romlock is. You wish you could have faced him, perhaps, but as adroit a writer as he is, and as quickly as he dismantled Sir Loris, well, Sir Romlock, it would have been challenging. In your eye, the better knight of the day did win the list. Sir Romlock has been riding impressively through the entire tournament. And with that, the tourney has ended, and Sir Romlock the victor. And the rest of the afternoon
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Huzzahs all around. And did you guys want to talk to Sir Aiden? because he's definitely limps back to his tent.
Yeah, I want to talk
y-
to Sir Aiden again.
Yeah, we'll tag along if Brydget will have us.
Okay.
Would you see to Sir Aiden, please, the same services you offered me?
Absolutely, young dame.
Much appreciated.
Brydget, I had hoped to win the sword, but unfortunately, it looks like the best knight won.
Sir Romlock is probably the best combatant, but probably not the best knight. Sir Romlock is not known as a good man. A dangerous knight, not the most chivalrous out there. He is the heir to and one of your father's men, but he is the heir to the barony of Setru, which is to the west. And he and his father have a somewhat unseemly reputation as being up to no good. But they are what they are. So walking, Brydget has escorted two people. I think you heard me describe them, Dave.
Yep.
So, but you see them. They come in. They are these two odd-looking fellows dressed like they did their best to dress up, but they came a little bit short. But they are escorted in, and Brydget has brought them to you.
Ah. Hail and well met.
Good day, Sir Aiden.
I'm trying to quietly struggle out of my armor, and I comment to Brydget, it's too bad neither of us won that sword. It would have done your father proud.
Yes, it is too bad.
But the percentages were against us. First of all, we ended up fighting in the second round against each other. It would have been nice if we were. That is the will of the list. We will find other venues where we can excel at. So who are these two gentlemen you brought with you?
They offered their
good evening, sir.
to me.
Yes, Sir Aiden. We're foresters, rangers, perhaps, if you would, and we're known to Baron Kuro, and he's talked to us about traveling north with you and the Baron of Iged in the coming days. But we wanted to say hello and meet you both, and since you're a little worse for wear from your valiant efforts in the joust, we have some healing knowledge from our time in the wilderness that we are offering, if you'd like.
I would welcome a cold compress or two or three. My bones get brittle as the years go on.
So as he shrugs himself out of his armor, he has pretty good bruise to his right shoulder and a pair of pretty good zingers to his right upper arm.
I have the chart.
Is that
Plus 30 again?
4 total?
3 total.
Yeah, he put that in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, a little bit about what I'm doing. Performing a lot better than I should by percentage.
Making some rolls here. So the second one just is completely healed, I believe.
All right,
The
so
third
I'll
one.
The third upper arm.
The third upper arm is gone.
Okay.
Well, it's still attached, but it's gone. So we got an H5 on the first one, and an H6 on the second one, and a full heal on the last one. Good job.
So is Sir Aiden middle-aged like me, or maybe a touch older?
No, he's
You mentioned his bones.
Oh, it's riding for a living and being a knight is hard on the body. He's probably in his early 30s. But I mean, he's been a knight for over 10 years, and if he's been an active knight, he's had his licks.
Sure. Something Hafyn can't probably avoid is in the. He'll refer to him as young knight and young sir, my lad, things like that. As young sir, please lift your arm. Please move this way. As we're wrapping him up.
Yeah, he keeps calling you
treating
lad.
him like he's a younger man.
He does use those terms, but he doesn't. When he appears to be about your age, although his eyes look a little bit older. His eyes look quite.
He is attending to me, so I'll smile and bear his statements with dignity and comments as a jest. If I were just as young as you wish, as you say I am, when he's done.
Yeah, fair enough. So one of the wounds is completely cleared away, and the other one is, well, they're both.
One of the three is completely cleared away. I still have a shoulder and an arm wound.
Yeah, so, and they have what's called a healing roll, and which means that they will, after a period of time, get a roll to see, and you don't want to be wounded in Harnmaster, because you get a healing roll every 5 days for each wound to see whether it clears up.
And anything over a minor wound can get infected.
Yeah.
That's always what kills people in this game.
Right.
And they already have the healing roll there, and we'll make a practice one, so if you...
And well, for context, maybe we should state, if you're armored lightly like Zyrsin and I are, impact of an 8 or 9, which you guys were taking left and right, ends in a serious wound.
Yeah.
It can be penalty of 10 or 15 to your universal penalty rolls, so
Right.
all your rolls and infection and all the other problems that come with it. So, the armor is really useful in keeping.
Yeah, you guys were shrugging off stuff that would have been, deadly to an average person with no armor on.
It'll be good to have someone with woodlore knowledge. I am seriously lacking in that. I am a fighter and a defender.
Okay, so, go ahead. I'm sorry. You guys.
Yes, I hope to keep us out of trouble for the most part. That would be ideal. You don't need to worry yourself about most little things. We'll save you for the big stuff.
Sounds like a plan.
Here, let me talk to Marcus real quick. Marcus,
Yep.
GM channel.
Yeah.
We can have the Baron of Yuged come by and say something. Have you? I wouldn't mind if you were to play him, and have him beat these two, or I can do it. But I wouldn't mind if you. I think you could maybe try to take the role on, and that way it's kind of something for you to kind of latch onto.
Oh, okay.
But remember, he's trying to go to the north, and he's looking forward to that, and he's all excited by his knights fighting, but it might be a point for Hafyn and Zyrsin to meet the guy that they're probably going to be escorting up there and kind of get an impression of him.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
You guys are having this conversation, and at this point, a person dressed very finely comes in. He's wearing a baronial circlet because it's a fancy time, and I can show you a picture of him if I can find it. A fairly amiable-looking fellow. Of course, Hafyn and... I'm sorry, not Hafyn. Aiden and Brydget know him very well. But this person comes wandering in. Dressed a bit more fine than he is in that picture. In that picture, he's somewhat informal-looking, but he now has a fine tunic on and a chain of office and a circlet on. But all of those accoutrements look somewhat out of place on him because he has this very kind of jolly-looking face, red cheeks, ready smile. I mean, you know that he's Hafyn and Zyrsin. By the way he's dressed and everything, you know he's one of these fancy people, although you're probably not sure exactly who he is. But he comes in and greets Sir Aiden. And I don't think Brydget is there right now. Brydget, oh yeah, Brydget's there. I'm sorry. She brought the two in there. So you guys see who you know is the Baron come walking in. But Hafyn and Zyrsin, this person is a stranger to you.
Well, hello everyone. How are we doing today?
The Lord,
Good day, my lord.
do what is proper. I don't know if you know when a Baron comes in, especially since he's my Lord.
Yeah,
if I would kneel to him or whatever, I don't know for sure.
You know that he doesn't stand too much on formalities, which might bother you a little bit. You might prefer that he's a bit more formal, but he's not. He's a fairly informal person. Because he keeps in his court musicians and poets and all those types. He runs a very loose court. You try to keep it tight, but he doesn't really. Normally, though, you'd address a Baron as Baron or Your Excellency.
I will stand, make sure I nod to him since he's less formal. That's going to be what I will settle for formality and say, Baron, good to see you.
Oh, it is good to see you. And the Baron will walk up and grab both your shoulders and kind of shake you loosely. And you made me proud today. You did very well. And Brydget, she almost got you, but you taught her another lesson today.
I'll unhorse him one day.
I look forward to it.
Now, it comes to my attention that that you two will be going north, and we have two more people that I have not met that will be accompanying us.
Yeah. So you were told by the Earl on the side that that he wasn't totally pleased with your misadventures that he anticipates are going to happen going to the North Country, but he has found a pair of woodmen to go with you. That's all he said about these people. That's the only introduction that you had, that there are two woodmen that he had found who will assist you in this journey.
Yep.
And that's all he knows.
So I look forward to meeting these two woodmen that are going to be accompanying us up north.
My Baron, allow Brydget to introduce these gentlemen.
Of course. My Baron, this is Hafyn. She points to the weird guy. And
Your Excellency.
and then she points, and this is Zyrsin, the younger weird. She didn't say the younger weird guy, but the other younger weird guy.
Oh, I wasn't told that this was going to be mostly a Jarin adventure, but it looks promising that we have this flavorful group that's going to be going up north.
When he comes in, by the way, accompanying him is a
Crazy man.
it is a Ilviran priest. You guys know it when you see it.
When you smell it.
Hey, now. So, Ted, if you could please describe your character to Hafyn and Zyrsin. Obviously, Brydget and Aiden are familiar with him.
I'm obviously a proud Jarin priest of Ilvir.
He's got like the bowl haircut and like the big mutton chop mustache.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah. I'm 6 foot tall and weigh 137, so pretty rail thin.
And he's dressed in tan and brown and yellow robes, which is pretty typical of Ilviran priests. He has the sundered claw. Is a little silver medallion around his neck. I should probably show you a picture of that.
Well, excellent. Sir, Emrys, glad to meet you as well. It's great to make acquaintances with future traveling companions. As we are at your service, do you have any specific plans how far north we're going, Your Excellency? Is there particular sites or places or people you'd like to experience?
Well, I would like to see it all, but we won't have time for all that. But we'll talk about this later. I'm sure that we're going to have plenty of time to talk and eat and drink.
Well, of course, Bridget, your father is going to host, like he always does, on any special occasion, a feast that will be spoken about for weeks or months afterwards. So you know that's coming. That was being planned weeks ago.
Weeks and months.
All right, so with that, we will go ahead and conclude today's session and take it next time. We'll have the feast and discuss future plans that are going to happen.
We might have an archery contest if anybody wants to do it.
We can do that pretty quick. That sounds like a good thing.